Hey guys, just wanted to show you an how-to on changing the brakes on an E46 BMW. This should apply to basically all trim levels of the E46. So it's the 323, the 325, the 328, and the 330i. What I'm working on here right now is a 330i. It is a ZHP model, so I will actually make a separate video on this car. It's kind of a cool story. I'm always looking for cars, and this is one of the examples of a car that I bought that I got kind of fortunate on. So but yeah, so this car does need a lot of work. I bought it, I knew that it was going to need a lot of work. It's got 185,000 miles, just shy of 185,000 miles. But yeah, the car needs basically full suspension, shocks, anti-sway bar end links, the lower control arms, the bushings. I mean, it needs everything, which I was totally fine with. I actually like that with the cars that I buy. I like to replace as much as I can. When I buy a car, it's always, to me, it's fun. Three things that I love changing on a car when I first get them are the brakes, the tires, and the suspension. So if I can get a car that's the price reflects that, I love it. So this price for this car reflected that, so I was totally fine with it. I'm actually planning to do an E46 M3 suspension swap on this. So for the time being, I'm upgrading. So kind of a little background story. I'm planning to upgrade the suspension on this car, so I will make some videos on it. It's going to be the ZHP suspension. ZHP suspension, the main difference is, honestly, I think it's just the lower control arms. They just have beefier lower control arm bushings. Other than that, it's basically the same as a 330i regular. But yeah, I'm actually planning to do more, to replace it, just to see what the car was like from the factory, and then I actually will do an E46 M3 suspension swap. But I'll get into that a little bit later. But for this video, I'm going to be replacing the whole carrier, the caliper. So I'm going to be replacing the caliper with a rebuilt one. So it's going to be the bracket, the caliper, the rotors, the brake pads, and that's it. So I just wanted to kind of just show you what I'm working with here, and just kind of give you a quick tutorial on how to do it. It's actually very simple. I'm sure you guys have probably seen other videos on it, but hopefully you prefer mine, even though they're kind of very basic videos. But yeah, so like I said, let me kind of go through here and show you what I'm working with here. So I've got, of course, I've got my paper towel here. I always have paper towel when working on the car, especially when you're going to be working on fluids. So what I've got here is I bought Zimmerman front rotors. The reason why they're black, and you can probably see a little bit of primer gray, and even on the outer edges here, where the vents are, I'm actually pretty OCD, so I like to, so I even did the back, sprayed those, I sprayed those with primer, and this is high temperature paint, engine paint. So I like to do that. It actually keeps the rotors from rusting. I mean, they eventually will rust. I've already experimented on my other E46 325, and eventually this will start turning ugly, but it actually keeps them looking pretty good, particularly the vents around here. They won't rust, and even like when I painted the backs here, the nice thing about that is this obviously mounts to the hub, and it actually prevents the rotor from getting stuck to the hub. So yeah, I love that. I love when I'm working on cars, I can quickly take things off. So yeah, so here's the for the front rotors. I've got rears that I'm going to do a little bit later. But so actually, I bought these calipers. These are rebuilt calipers, but the cool thing about it is they're not like aftermarket. These are BMW. You can see they're BMW. So basically, I got these from Rock Auto actually, and I love it that they're zinc coated. That made me very happy. So I was specifically looking for remanufactured, rebuilt OEM because you can get aftermarket ones, which I'm not a big fan of. So the nice thing about it is these were already they actually came loaded. I don't like these brake pads. I should say I don't like many brake pads other than these Akibonos, but yeah, so this is completely rebuilt. Basically, you take off the old one and put the new one on, and you should be good to go. That's the nice thing about it. So my car, as I told you, it's pretty old. It's a 2004 330i ZHP, and not much maintenance. So I'm positive that you saw the condition. They're pretty rusty. I mean, you can see it from here. They're pretty rusty. And the brake pads that I love. These are, they're actually very popular now. They're the Akibono Euro, and these the part numbers EUR 946 for the fronts. So these are great pads. I love these pads. The great thing about it is the stopping is great, and they do not dust at all. I love that. The stereotype about particularly the E46s when they were new. You could pretty much tell within 2 days your wheels were already dirty. So these are to me the best upgrade pad. It actually even says advanced OEM technology. I agree with that. It's not just marketing. It's a great pad, so I highly recommend them. The funny thing about it is I've actually was just looking through my old records, and I will say the prices have been going up, but I guess that's consistent with with the times. It's January 2023 for future viewers of this. So I think I paid like $76 plus tax shipped, and I'm a huge fan of FCP Euro. I'm not sponsored. Love them. I try to buy everything from them. Great company. Huge fan of that company. So here's that. And then also when it comes to the tools, I wanted to just kind of give you guys a quick look at the tools. The C-clamp, that's if you're going to be reusing your old calipers, your existing calipers. That way you can push the piston in, and so that you can load up the new brake pads in it. And then I've got my 1/2 inch and the 3/8 inch socket wrenches. So this one here is an Allen key. It's a 6mm. So this one's used for the set screw for the rotors. Yes, the rotors. So it's going to go in here and mount to the hub. So this one's 6mm, and then this one you're going to use is a 7mm Allen key. That's going to be used to actually separate the caliper from the caliper bracket that mounts to the upright of the front wheel. Then also what you're going to need is a 16mm wrench. I used a box wrench. That's going to be used to take the bolts off of the caliper bracket off of the upright. And then this one's a 9mm wrench, open face wrench. That's going to be used to just open up the bleed screw on the caliper itself. I like I have some PB blaster for any rusted screws and things like that. And then I have 2 screwdrivers. I use the bigger one to hold the rotor in place if I'm taking off the set screw. The rotor set screw. Sometimes it's gonna kind of move on you. The wheel or the rotor will actually turn with it. So I actually put this in one of the vents like this while it's on the car, and then open it up. And so I also have a 17mm impact socket. You don't need an impact socket. That's to take the wheels off, the lug nuts. And then I also have a 16mm that I use for the lower bolt on the caliper bracket. And then I have this bad boy. I love this thing. This DeWalt impact gun. It is awesome. I use it to take the wheels off. And then I have this rubber mallet. It's got sand inside of it. That's if the rotor gets stuck. So yeah, so just kind of show you, here's what I have as far as things to get ready. I like to have the cardboard. I like to have the cardboard here so that anything that spills, it doesn't leak on the ground. So get that set up. So what I'll do is I'll set up my camera and then I'll show you what I'm gonna do to take off the caliper and the bracket, and then we'll go from there. Okay, we'll be right back. Okay, so here I'm all set up. So the first thing that I like to do is I'll take the 6mm Allen key, and I will break this the rotor set screw. So like I said, sometimes it'll get stuck. So what I do is I put in a screwdriver here so that when I do, it'll actually butt up over here, and then I've already loosened up. So this one sometimes can be a little tricky. Just be careful. It can strip out. I know the Hondas are much worse than these are, but just be careful. You know, try to make sure, you know, the Allen key is in there and you're giving equal pressure as much as you can, because you don't want to strip that out. If you strip it out, it's going to make your day a lot worse. So take that out. And now that we got that out, what I do is, so there's a spring here that keeps the brake noise down. It keeps from chattering. So I'm not sure how a lot of people do this. I think a lot of people tend to pry it out over here. It's actually not as difficult if you like. It's actually meant if you put it in here and pushed it in up here, and it'll pop right out. Be careful. Don't inhale. If you try not to inhale any of this brake dust and the rust. Not good. So there's that pin. So then from there, what you'll want to do is you'll want to take your 3-inch ratchet and I'm sorry, you want the 7mm. Did I grab that one? So here's the 7mm Allen key. So what you'll want to do is back here. Let me move this camera here. So back here, there is a cover for the bolt that's going to use the Allen key. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to take a screwdriver, and the Allen thing is actually behind here. So I've already got this pulled out a little bit, but what you'll want to do is you'll want to pop this thing off, and that looks like this. So there's actually two of them, one up here and then one down over here. You'll see them both. So what you can, once you do that, you will you'll take the 3/8 Allen key and then start loosening this. Nothing spectacular. So what this is going to do is this is going to separate the caliper from the caliper bracket. And then once you do that, then there's actually two more bolts. I'll show you those once I get the caliper off, and we'll go from there. Okay guys, so what I'm doing now is I'm actually loosening up these bolts here. So there's two. There's one here, and then there's one, I'm not sure if you'll be able to see it, but it's down here, down over here. Hopefully you can see it. And so once I release that, I'll be able to take the whole thing off. So I've already loosened them up. So here's what those bolts look like. This one's off, and then when you took off the cover for back here, this cover here, these are the two that hold the caliper onto the bracket. So once you get those loosened up, you'll see what these look like. So these are kind of a little unusual. That's where the Allen key goes in. So you're gonna have two of them, one here and then one down over there. So So we'll get those out too. Then we will take the caliper off. Yeah, so reason why I'm changing these, I'm actually planning to track this car. As you can see my other videos I have on my channel, I like to go to the track. So I was basically prepping this car to go to the track. These are so old and they're sticking. So like I tested just, you know, with these stock brake or whatever these brake pads are. The car was not safe. It was definitely, you could tell that one of the calipers was sticking, which isn't a surprise. So so here might need to pry up the so many times what happens here is, like you see I'm having to pry it. Oftentimes there's like a lip that'll form on the outer edge of this this rotor. That'll prevent the brake pads oftentimes from coming out. So basically you're going to probably see the brake pads will get stuck on here, and then we'll take them off once the rotor is off. So here we go. Okay, and here's some of the rust and random stuff. So okay, so here's the caliper. I'll put this up here. You want to hang it so that it doesn't pull on this on the hose. So this will kind of give you an idea. So overall, I mean, it still has a little bit of decent life on the pads. But one thing I can say is these pads leave a lot of brake dust. Can't stand that. It's so bad. So I'm just putting the hardware back on here. So yeah, so the brake dust is just horrendous. So yeah, so I'm happy to be putting the Akibonos. Now, am I going to use the Akibonos for my track use? No, I'm going to be I'm going to go with a Hawk DTC track pad. One neat fact about these brake pads for the 330s, they're actually the same for the E46 M3. Kind of cool. So they're the same size. Now, are the calipers the same? No, their calipers are not the same. The brake pad is just the same. So if I'm planning on getting an E46 M3 someday, and hopefully I can swap pads around on them. So let's put this back here. I don't want it to scratch anything if I can help it. Put that there. Okay, so now, as I said, sometimes this, you know, I showed you that I paint the back of my new rotors. Now, this is one thing that happens. Oftentimes it'll get stuck. So sometimes I call this the persuader. So what I do is I'll hit different areas of different corners, and there we go. Okay. So also these rotors were shimmying when I would brake on them, so they were definitely due for a replacement. So here we go. I'm sure the bearings could use some replacement, but this will give you a little interest. Oh, I didn't know. That's kind of interesting. There's a tag on here that I've never seen before on the control arm. So also one thing is the front suspension definitely feels worn, but I'm actually wondering if it could be that back control arm, this bushing right here. This is rubber inside of it. It could be. I can see it's bad. So yeah. So that's what that's what that looks like. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the caliper off and reinstall all the new stuff. I'm going to clean this up and kind of get it at least prepped. I like to clean stuff up before I put everything back on. So I'll be right back. I don't have a hose right now. It's actually winter time. It's January of 2023. So I'm just gonna give it as best clean as I can without a hose. I plan on doing a little more comprehensive cleaning job a little later. My main goal was just to get the brakes done. I actually needed to get them done sooner than later so I can return the original calipers so that I can get my core back. So I figured, let me just quickly do this. I normally like to do a thorough job, but I will say when I do a thorough job, it really drags out the install process. But I think it's worth it. To me, the sense of satisfaction of, even if it gets dirty. I know a lot of my friends make fun of me. They're like, it's just gonna get dirty again. I'm fine with that. So right now, I'm actually just using just dishwashing detergent right now. I use this. I'm gonna make some more detailing videos, and you'll see some of the stuff is pretty cool. I will say some of the products that they make are very impressive. They really get the car and the parts really clean. And one of my favorites is a citrus spray, a citrus auto wash. So one is called P21S auto wash. It's on the expensive side, but I've also used, I bought it from Costco. I got a 5-gallon, and it was actually much cheaper than P21S. I would say, does it do as good of a job as P21S? I think so. I found it to do a little bit better job. It could be in my head. But for the most part, Oil Eater from Costco is a fantastic. I use Oil Eater on things that are, like even like back here. You're not going to really see, the difference between a thorough detail and not. So yeah, so these are the kinds of stuff that I use the Oil Eater on. But on the stuff that you can see more readily, I use the auto wash, the P21S. I think you can look at it. I think I got it from either Auto Geek or one of those places, and it was pretty expensive. I'm sure it's gone up since. I kind of rarely use my P21S. It's mainly the Oil Eater that I use. And yeah, I'm going to make some videos on how well it cleans wheels, OEM wheels. So yeah, I'll show that. So this, as I said, this is just soap. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to spray the Oil Eater. So I have it in this bottle. So this is the bottle that P21S comes in. Since I use it up, I'm using it for Oil Eater. So yeah, I like to have it a little damp. Right now it's a little too damp, so I'm gonna wait for it to clean that up. But for the most part, this probably is not going to clean up much. It's going to be more so this. Like you can see, like it's kind of greasy, kind of like that thick. That's just kind of being sloshed around a little bit. It's really not cleaning it. It's just kind of more so just moving it around. Watch and see. I think for the most part it should clean it up. I will say, I think so many times what I do is I will actually coat this hub in axle grease. I'll just put a light coat around it, and I'll actually even put some axle grease on the lug nuts, the threads, so that they don't get stuck. You know, it doesn't rust in there. And like I said, putting the axle grease, it prevents it from rusting, and it also makes it easier to take things off. So I kind of conservatively use it. I don't spray a ton of it on there. You will want to let it wait, just wait a little bit. And then what I do is I actually spray the bristles too, with two. Usually I spray two pumps on it. But yeah, you'll just want to let it kind of do its thing. I don't know if you can see it. It's already, just from spraying it on, it's actually turning. It's already brown. So yeah, even after you clean it with the soap, when you just spray it with the citrus spray, you'll see that even more dirt's coming off of it, even though it looks like it's pretty clean. So it's pretty cool. So let's see if this gets clean. I don't think this will maybe get too much cleaner, because it is, unfortunately, it is corroded by the elements. But yeah, it's actually cleaning up. All that sludge is kind of coming off of it. But yeah, I don't think it'll unfortunately get too much cleaner, because it's just the metal is already corroded. But let's see how much cleaner this thing gets. We'll have to try, right? So you can already see it's still, the dirt is coming off. So what I'll do is I'll spray it again. Doesn't look like it's going to get too much cleaner, unfortunately, but I mean, it's not bad. I don't think it's bad. So I'm going to keep at this, and then I will be back and show you some more of the install. Okay, so I cleaned it all up. Looks pretty good. I coated in axle grease. A lot of my friends make fun of me. I've been doing it for 20 some odd years and never had a problem. It's actually served me very well, so I'm going to stick with it. So now I'm going to be putting on the rotor here. So I'm lining it up. This rotor can only go on one way. You have to line it up with that set screw. So let's find where that set screw went. Here it is. That's why the set screw's there. Just cleaning it off a little bit so we can turn this up this way. Put that in there with the 6mm again. So this too, I coated it as well, and this is one of those things you don't want to tighten it too hard. This is just really just there to just to hold it in place. A lot of people, for some reason, I will say a lot of mechanics too, they tighten it so hard, and there's really no reason. The main thing is as long as it just, you know, it's tight enough so that it doesn't back out. That's the main thing. So so here, what I'll do is I will tighten it, but I don't really need to tighten it too hard. Like, that's good enough. And then what I like to do too is I will just take a little dab of grease and put that on there so that it doesn't rust. So that way when it's time to take it out, it comes right out. So okay, so and I'll clean this up, the surface in a little bit with brake cleaner. You don't want any you know, chemicals or anything like that on there. So so now that we got that on there, now we can. I already preloaded these this caliper, and fortunately it's brand new, so I don't need to, or I should say rebuild, but fortunately I don't need to, for the most part I shouldn't need to really you know, push that the piston in, so so that should make things a lot easier. But yeah, if you're doing this on an existing car, you're not replacing the calipers, you will need to probably adjust that. And I'm not saying that. Okay, so here we go. It slipped right on. So that's a good sign there. So what we'll do here is I need to get the mounting hardware. Happy with that. Looking so much better. Now I just hope it performs the way it should. But yeah, that the zinc coating I love. Like I'm planning to get more of my parts. I'm actually I'll make a video on that as well. I'm actually stripping a lot of the OEM bolts, that nuts and bolts that I take off my cars. And what I'm going to do is I'm labeling them, things like that. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to get them all zinc coated, and that way they prevent you know, rust, at least most of the rust. So yeah, so these are pretty much going to stay this color. They might start, you know, tarnishing a little bit, but this is what happens when you have a bare metal one that hasn't been treated. It obviously was exposed to the elements. So yeah, so that's basically it. So what I'll need to do is I'm going to transfer this this brake hose, onto this caliper, and basically button it up, and then clean the surface of the rotor, and we're in business. And then I have to do the other side. So let's see here. This should be, you kind of should be able to push it in. I've got kind of wimpy hands. Okay, there it goes. So yeah, it looks pretty good. Unfortunately, I had these in my trunk and they got a little bit scratched up, so they might rust a little bit. But for the most part, this will stay pretty nice looking. So yeah, so that's basically it. I can make a video on how to bleed brakes. I don't think I should include it in this video. And besides that, it's like I said, it's a pretty simple job, not difficult at all. All right, I hope this helped some of you guys. Thanks. Hey guys, real quick, I thought I'd mention something that I needed to do. So the brake fluid line, kind of unusual, I will say, a little surprised. Usually they have what should I say, like a bolt that goes in there, but it usually has like two holes in it, and it basically has an eye inlet for the brake hose, and you set the brake hose on it, and then you put that bolt in, and the fluid flows through that. I will say this is the first time I've ever seen this where it directly goes into the caliper like this. So it goes straight into it. So I had to take off the rotor so that I can twist this off. So what I'm going to do is I've got paper towels down here, and wanted to catch as much brake fluid as I can, so it doesn't make a huge mess. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to loosen this. Can I loosen this here? And then that way I can twist the caliper itself to loosen, and then same thing with the new one. I can that's the reason why I took it off, so that I can spin the new one as I'm tightening up the brake line, because the brake line there's not much play to tighten it onto the caliper itself. So yeah, you have to spin it so many times. There's no way you're going to get enough you know, if the little extra length if you're going to try to do it with the caliper still on the knuckle. So let's see how much brake fluid squirts out here. Do I have the new one here? The new one's ready to go. Keep the new one here. Yep, new one's ready to go. So this is about to pop off. There it goes. And then now I am going to tighten this up here. Let's see, a little tough. I need to work out again. I stopped working out and I've lost all my muscles. So there it goes. I'm trying not to touch the brake pad to get any fluid on it. All right, there it goes. Slip that on. There we go. Sweet. Okay, and yeah, just to tighten everything back up, you remember there's those two Allen key, Allen head bolts that mount the caliper to the mounting bracket, and then these two bigger bolts, 16 millimeter, that mount the caliper to the knuckle, and that's it. And then all you have to do is bleed the system, and you're good to go. All right. Again, hope that helps. See ya.